What's up, Shacklz gang? This is jaleelshacklz, your advice guru, giving you relationship advice, general advice, and spreading love and positivity. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and following me on my other social medias. Thank you, John DeWitt, for having me on your broadcast. Greatly appreciate that as well. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into this video. And this video is talking about what you need to know before you get into a relationship. Because day in, day out, I give advice, of course, but a lot of the times I find out more so that people just rush into the relationship because they like the idea of a relationship. Then they realize later on in the relationship it's not truly what they wanted. So I want to let you guys know what you need to know before you actually get into the relationship. And there are 6, possibly 7 tips, but watch this video to the very end. And if you like the content of my videos, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. So the first thing you need to do is that be comfortable with yourself. You have to analyze what you like to do as a person and just be comfortable. Maybe you like to stay at home and watch movies, or maybe you like to go out from time to time. What do you personally like to do? It's definitely gonna have a big influence on the relationship, because if you're a person that doesn't really work out as much and you chill at home, if you're dealing with a person that's always out, up and going and working out, they're going to annoy the crap out of you because they're not the type of person to settle down, watch movies, and then at the same time it could go the other way around where they want to take you out, want you to do things, want you to get dressed up for them, but you're like, I'd rather just chill at home. You need to find that common interest, but be comfortable with yourself. Everybody has a little bit of weirdness to them, but don't let that stop you from being the person that you are, or making that a factor in changing yourself to meet somebody else's needs. You shouldn't change yourself 100% like a whole new person, because the real you will come out, and eventually you're going to be tired of trying to put on an impression for somebody where they don't know who you really are. The second thing you want to do is know what makes you happy. And this is going to be something that has a big impact on your relationship. Because if one person is making the plans all the time because, you want to see that person happy, that person is going to feel kind of guilty because they don't know who you are as a person. They don't know what you like. They don't know anything about you because you never actually say, hey, let's go ahead and do something that I want to do. And the person that you're telling this to should respect the fact that you want to do something different aside from what only they want to do. Then that way it's an even bond. It's like, well, my girl's like this, she likes that. Or a guy likes this and they like that. Rather than coming to terms of, oh yeah, I plan everything, and then he kind of like shadows back, or he pulls back and goes into a little shell. And the worst thing for a guy is to become silent, because if they're not talking to you, they're talking to somebody else. And I don't mean in ways of cheating, but I mean they're confiding in somebody else. And you want them to confide in you as you are in the relationship, so you have to share that mutual bond. And also, if you're making sure that you're happy, you could tell them, hey, this doesn't make me happy. This is a little bit disrespectful, and I would appreciate it if you do this. You don't necessarily need to nag about it or whine about it. Just tell them how you feel. Third thing is review the red flags. If you're dating and you see that the person that you're dealing with has cheated on multiple girlfriends and they blame everybody else, they don't take sole responsibility, then that's a red flag. Because if they say every person that they've dealt with was crazy, or they were like, oh, they weren't a match for me, they were this, they were that, they're not taking sole responsibility and figuring out what they could have done better in the relationship. A relationship is a partnership. So if one person is technically crazy, there must have been something that probably drove that person crazy. Or you just have to figure out how it ended. It shouldn't just be, oh yeah, they're crazy and stuff like that, and these girls, because the same thing they're saying about all those other people are the same thing they're going to say about you. And you want a person that respects you and tells the truth about the whole relationship and what goes on, rather than the person that they're with ends up contacting you and then you end up letting them know what the real issue is. And then next thing you know, imagine if you're in their shoes and you feel like the person lied to you, because in reality the person's not crazy, the person just cheated on them, and then they're just not taking sole responsibility for their actions. So you have to look at these red flags as something that's really gonna possibly hinder your relationship. And if it's a serious red flag, maybe you don't like smoking, that's your deal. You know what you like, you know what you want. Don't go for that. Go for something that you're really happy with. You also really want to respect yourself. In this day and age and generation, everybody wants sex. They don't get to learn who the person is or reach an intimate level with them mentally versus physically. When you do it mentally, you figure out the substance, you figure out what the person's about, whether you want to create a relationship and get married and stuff like that. And if they're only talking on a physical level, you have to have respect for yourself and say, hey, like, let's talk about something different. I want to figure out what you're about, what's on your mind. Like, yes, sex sounds nice. Everybody can have sex. But what makes you different than these other people? I don't just want sex. I want a relationship. I want an intimate connection. And intimacy doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be all physical. Intimacy means that you have some kind of connection that blends you guys together, that makes you feel good around this person. You also have to know what you want. If the person is bad with their finances, isn't stable, or isn't even trying to work harder on themselves, then you need to let them move along. Just because they look pretty, just because they look like they got money, it doesn't matter. You need to figure out, like, how do they invest in themselves? What do they see with themselves? Know what you want. Do you want an ambitious person? Do you want a lazy person? Do you want a person that's driven? Do you want a person that just is committed? Do you want a person that just makes you feel loved? If you want that, you need to say that. At the same time, you need to venture towards it and keep on going towards it. Don't just settle for a person just because they look nice. Eventually, looks will fade. So you really have to know what you want and know when to pass somebody on, or just to put them in the friend zone because you know that they're a great person or whatever, but you just don't see yourself in a relationship with them, and you don't want to waste your time. Number 6, enjoy the person's company. If you feel like you're always going to get into arguments, like initially in the relationship or in the dating process, you find a lot of things that you are just going to headbutt with, then don't pursue a relationship like that. Because you want somebody that you could connect with, somebody that you feel yourself with, that you could vent to or feel like your natural self, versus somebody that you feel like you're walking on eggshells with. A lot of people in general, if you come across them, will be acquaintances or somebody that you'll know, and you'll just bypass them, but you won't show them your true self because it might come off as weird and make them run away. But you want somebody that makes you feel comfortable with who you are as a person and loves you just the way you are. And you want to love them just the same. So if you're enjoying each other's company, you won't have as many arguments. Yeah, you're going to have arguments because you're in a relationship, and no relationship is perfect, and it always has to be worked on. But you want to enjoy the person's company regardless of anger or anything. So these are my 6 tips before you get into a relationship. Really consider this video. Like, share, subscribe if you really like the content of my videos. Leave a comment below so that we can talk back and forth to make a possible future video. Jaleel Shacklz, Deuces.